Hi everyone, this is a little walkthrough for my website that I created as my creative component for my master's in educational technology. First of all, I chose to use Weebly in order to make this site, and I chose that because I feel like the creation tools are just very intuitive. It's a very much a drag and drop situation. You're able to do lots of personalization with the font, with the background images, with the theme. And one of the things that really stands out as far as Weebly goes is that it allows you to make changes to the theme without having to upload all of the content again. Several of the other website creation tools, if you change the theme, you basically are starting over. And I very much like that Weebly didn't do that. So moving on with the website, you'll see here on the very beginning page, there is an About This Site button. And when you click that, it will take you to information about what this site is for. I also included a link for the educational technology program at Oklahoma State because I have several people that throughout my 2 years in the program have asked me lots of questions. They wanted to know what it was about and how to get involved in it. So I wanted to be sure and have that information available. So moving on, we're going to click on About This Site, and it takes you to a page that lets you know that this website is my collection of all of my things, my mementos, if you will, from all of my time in this program. I have collected all of artifacts from all of my different classes, and I really wanted it to showcase and document the learning that I have done. I feel it's really important with students to also have a digital portfolio so that they can see where they've been, where they're going, and they have this thing when they're finished, this product at the end, where they can look back and say, wow, I achieved that. I did that. And I feel like this was what this website was for me. It was it was very insightful, I guess you would say, for me to go back and look at where I was. Being in the educational technology world already, I have seen what I felt like was a lot of stuff. I felt like I really had sort of a handle on it, and so it was very interesting and very rewarding to go back and look at how far I've really come, how much I really had to learn, and how much better I am at my job for having been a part of this program. Okay, we're going to go on to the About page, and this just tells you a little bit about me. This tells you that, as you will read on the site, I have been in education for 29 years now. I have taught everything from elementary in a enclosed classroom situation all the way to now where I work for my district level as an instructional technologist. I cannot ever say that there was a time that I was like, that job, like it didn't happen for me early on that I decided that instructional technology was where I was going. I was one of those teachers that, I taught in a room with chalk and no computers, no technology, a film strip machine. We still had a Ditto machine that we ran copies on and things like that. And little by little, as technology came out, I was an early adopter. I was one of those people, and we talked about that in one of my classes. I was one of those people that was like, yeah, I'll try that. I'll be one of those people that sees how this works for kids. And it really just has become a passion of mine. And so I am very lucky that I do have what I consider to be the best job, but I feel like this program really made me much better at this awesome job. I did put a contact page here on my website so that as people are looking through this, maybe they'll stumble upon it. I probably will share this with several of my other faculty members, my colleagues, so that they can share it out, so that they can see some of the things that are being taught at the university level. Sometimes with pre-K-12, we are very disconnected from what's going on in higher education, and I would like to share this to show them. And I wanted a way for them to be able to get in touch with me, for them to have a way to comment, ask questions, to offer suggestions, maybe, wonder how this could be applicable to what they're doing. The next page that this website highlights is my goals and philosophy page. Now, I wrote this goals and philosophy page before I took the Foundations of Educational Technology class, where one of our assignments is to write our goals. I was one of those people that sort of jumped into the stream like a little bit at an odd time, and I realized that the Foundations class is supposed to be the first class that you take on your journey. I, however, took it in my last semester. So for me, it was more of a summary. It was a way for me to look back on everything and to really be able to collect all of those details and all of those projects and see how they fit big picture instead of going from big picture to details. So I sort of did it a little bit backwards, but I really enjoyed writing this and then enjoyed getting to really tweak it and really perfect it for my class. I do go through here and talk about the fact that I do not believe that there is a difference between your philosophy of educational technology and your philosophy of education. It really is very similar. And one of my favorite quotes is at the bottom of this page, and it is that technology will never replace great teachers, but technology in the hands of great teachers is transformational. And that is really where I come from with all of my teachers that I work with in my district, is that I am not suggesting that technology will ever replace a great teacher, because it really won't, or it shouldn't. There is so much more to it. It needs to be a tool, but it is not the focus of education. So really, for teachers, they need to make sure that those best practices are there, that they are following all of those things, that when they are designing lessons, that they are following the design models that are proven to work with students. It is not about whether or not you can make an iMovie, it's whether or not your iMovie can demonstrate learning. I am also a big proponent for students being creators of content and not just consumers. They need to be active. They need to be a part of their educational journey so that they actually do come away retaining that information and having ownership of that information, so it becomes part of who they are. So in my goals, I definitely talk about the fact that technology is not really the focus. The good teaching is really the focus. I do feel like students should have a personalized education. When I started out teaching, the only students that really had anything personalized were students that needed to be on an IEP. It has moved in education, especially in the lower grades, to where it's really becoming more and more prevalent that all kids need some level of personalization. I think the degree in which that happens is up to the child and the child's needs, but every child needs that personalized instruction. I was a gifted specialist for quite some time, and too often I saw my gifted kids that were also academically gifted, sit and wait and have time where they just sat and either waited, or they were told to just read a book, which is always great, but they were told to read a book to wait for their classmates to get to a point where the teacher could address the next thing for them, whatever was the next step in the learning process. That is something that I feel like technology can really help us, because teachers can actually start to be more things for more students with the aid of technology if used correctly. It can help them to allow those kids to constantly be moving on, constantly learning, constantly perfecting what it is that they're doing, and no one is left to wait for others to catch up to them, or wait because the teacher doesn't have time to get to you because you need more help than everyone else. So I do definitely think that the personalized instruction is a big deal. I also believe that everyone should have access to multiple technology platforms, devices, things like that. We want to make sure that our kids, our students, when they leave our care, they are not stumped by any technology that's out there. If they are asked to demonstrate their knowledge, they're not going to be only able to do that if it's on a Chromebook, or only able to do that if it's on an iPad. They really need to be able to do it regardless, and this includes paper pencil. Like, there are all kinds of different things. They need exposure to all different types of assignments so that at no point is the tool what trips them up. And lastly, like I expressed in here, the technology needs to encourage authentic assignments. And that means there needs to be real world connection. There needs to be the ability to see why I'm going to use this. Why are you asking me to do this? All of that needs to be part of it. And I think technology really can bring out those important things. It can really bring the world to the student so that they feel connected, they feel part of it, and they can feel the importance of what they're expected to do. Moving on to the next tab on my website, I have included my resume. And in keeping with educational technology, I have made sure to have my resume be on a technology site. This is called Smore, which is an online newsletter. I love it because you can create the newsletter or whatever document is that you're using, and you share out the link with users. And throughout the year, I am able to update my resume, or you could update your Smore, your newsletter, whatever it is that you're using, and the link never changes. So once I have this becomes a dynamic. It becomes where I can make changes, and it happens in real time so that I can keep everything up to date. I am no longer searching for that one document that is the most current version. I just have everything here, and I'm able to locate it easily. I went through and discussed, as I had previously mentioned, that I am an instructional technologist. I am a nationally board certified teacher. At this point, I had 26 years. I can see that I need to update that part, including 2 years of experience as a site level tech for a elementary school. And I have gone through and shown my different experience, my education. You can see that I started out at OSU, had a brief stint at OU, and now I have returned to OSU. I have skills that help me to be a very strong leader. I'm very creative and motivated, and I love to share what I'm doing with others. As far as awards and honors, I have been lucky enough to be an author for Linked magazine about technology and where it is going for our students. I have been a district teacher of the year. I've been site teacher of the year several times, including the Oklahoma Technology Using Teacher of the Year in 2010 for OTA. With the presentations and training, I offer so many different presentations. It's really hard to list all of them, but I do presentations and training at school districts all around in central Oklahoma. I present at different conferences, and like I said, this is because I like to share what I know and share what I'm learning with others to make sure that all students have access to the best practices with educational technology. The next tab is where it really starts showcasing all of the different projects and products. This is the artifacts page. I felt that it was easier to just have buttons that would move to the next stage, so that this particular page was, and there's so much content that it was very easy to get bogged down in it, very easy to get confused. And so I just used these little buttons so that they would highlight. You can click to go to a specific page for that site, but I did choose not to have it as a submenu showing up under the tabs at the top. I felt that, like I said, made it a little too confusing. So once you start going through the different classes, you will see that I have put them, going back, I would like to also say, I put them in order that I took the classes so that you can also see my journey through the program, which classes I took at different times.